Hello dear students, welcome to my channel Excel in English. In our last video, we saw how young Sentila's curiosity slowly began to grow as she watched the pots being made. Now in this part, her real learning journey begins. The following year, Arilla took Sentila to the river bank where the grey and red clay was found. Remember, this river bank was the particular place where the special grey and red clay used for making pot was found. She taught Sentila how to dig the clay with a dowel, load it onto her carrying basket, and soak it in the trough in the workshed before stuffing it into the bamboo cylinder in the right proportion to pound it. So here Arilla patiently taught Sentila every step of preparing the clay, how to use a dao, which is a traditional multi-purpose Naga tool to dig the heavy earth. Sentila learned to carry these heavy loads back to her village and then soak them in a trough. A trough is a long container used to hold water or soak things. The clay was soaked there to make it soft and workable. Before stuffing it in the bamboo cylinder in the right proportion to pound it, finally the clay was put into a bamboo cylinder in the correct amount to pound means to heat it repeatedly to remove the air bubbles and ensure a perfectly smooth texture. Sentila was a quick learner and turned the clay into malleable dough. Malleable means soft and easy to shape, and dough, you all know, is a soft mixture like kneaded flour. So our Sentila learned very fast. Soon she was able to prepare the clay well by making it soft and smooth like dough that can be easily shaped into pots. But when she tried her hand at the shaping of the lump into a pot, she could not even hold the lump of dough properly. Now, to try one's hand is a common idiom which means to attempt or start doing a new activity, often for the first time. So, when Sentila tried to actually shape the clay into a pot, she struggled a lot. She couldn't even hold the soft clay properly, so making a pot seemed very difficult for her. The mother simply sat in a corner and watched the girl try again and again. So Arella just watched Sentila fail again and again. When Sentila hung her head in shame and frustration, Arella took over the job and transformed the lump into a beautiful pot. Sentila felt ashamed and upset because she couldn't do it properly. So, seeing this, Arella stepped in and skillfully turned the same lump of clay into a perfectly shaped, beautiful pot. These sessions continued for almost a year, but Sentila was unable to learn anything from her mother. That was really frustrating. The sessions means the practice periods went on for nearly a year, but Sentila could not learn how to shape the pots. Now, why this happened? We see here that Arella remained a silent observer. She didn't offer any guidance, any correction, or even any words of encouragement when Sentila failed. So, Sentila lacked the encouragement and the inspiration that are so important while learning a skill like pottery. The next year, when Sentila matured, here matured simply means that Sentila reached puberty and entered a new stage of growing up or young womanhood. According to custom, she was sent to stay for some nights in one of the girls' dormitories. Well, dormitory, as you know, is a shared living place where many people can stay together. Now, as per the traditions of her community, Sentila was sent to stay for a few days in a girls' dormitory. It was a special place where young girls learned life skills, discipline, and social customs as they grow up. Supervised by a kind middle-aged widow whom the girls called Onula or Auntie. This dormitory was looked after by a kind elderly woman who had lost her husband. The girls lovingly called her Onula, which meant auntie. She had heard of the discord in Sentila's family and resolved to help the girl in every possible way. Onula was very wise. She had heard about the discord, that is, the tension and unhappiness between Sentila and her mother. She knew that Sentila wanted to be a pot maker but was struggling. So Onula resolved, means she made a firm promise to herself to help Sentila in every way she could. One evening, when everyone except Sentila went to attend a musical evening, Onula saw her taking out some clay and the implements from her basket quietly. So, on one evening, when all the other girls went out to attend a musical program, Sentila stayed behind and quietly took out from her bag some clay and implements, which means the tools or the equipments used for a specific task. Now she wanted to use this rare moment of privacy to practice her craft in secret. Onula saw all this. She watched Sentila's clumsy efforts to make a pot and noticed that Sentila was too tense. Onula saw that Sentila's movements were clumsy, that is, awkward. They were not smooth or skillful. Most importantly, Onula noticed the root cause. Sentila was tense or nervous. Her mind and body were stressed with the fear of failure. As a result, the clay seemed unable or unwilling to yield the right shape. Now, because Sentila was so tense and uncomfortable, the clay did not take the proper shape. It was almost as if the clay itself was refusing to obey her or cooperate with her. When Sentila warily let the misshapen lump fall flat on the ground, Onula went to her and said, "Don't worry, little one. I shall teach you how to make a perfect pot." Now Sentila felt very tired and disappointed. So she dropped the misshapen, that is, the badly shaped clay, onto the ground. But instead of just watching silently like Sentila's mother, Onula stepped in with kindness. By calling her little one in an affectionate way, Onula immediately created a safe and a loving environment for Sentila. Sentila watched in amazement as Onula fashioned a beautiful pot and asked her to try again. So Onula fashioned, that is, she made a pot as a guide and then encouraged Sentila to try once more. Sentila took another lump of clay and with a confidence she had never felt before, started the process all over again, following the instructions she had just received. Now, this is the turning point. Because of the encouragement, the emotional support, Sentila's tension disappeared. For the first time, she felt confidence, and the result? She created a beautiful pot. So, when the teacher provides inspiration and encouragement, the student will surely succeed. When it is done, she sat there admiring her work, but Onula said, "The mouth of the pot is all wrong." After all her work, Sentila admired, means she looked with pride and pleasure at her creation. But Onula, being an expert, noticed a technical flaw, that the mouth or the top of the top opening of the pot was not shaped properly. Sentila looked at Onula in frustration, who smiled and said, "When you work with your mother next time, watch her carefully when she is shaping the mouth of the pot." Sentila felt frustration, that annoying feeling when you think you have finished but someone tells you it's not perfect yet. Though Onula pointed out her mistake, she was also very kind and encouraging towards her. "You are a quick learner and you will do well." So Onula not only pointed out Sentila's mistake but also encouraged her. She taught her that learning comes from careful observation and confidence, not just practice alone. During the next pot making session, Sentila observed how her mother held the left hand and the spatula. Sentila observed the specific way her mother used her left hand for support and a spatula, that is, a flat tool, to smooth the clay. How she slackened the rhythm when fashioning the mouth of the pots, and how she slackened, that is, how she slowed down her movements while shaping the mouth or the top part of the pot, and how a strip of elongated dough was added to the mouth to make the rim. It was a technical trick to add a strip of elongated dough, that is a long thin piece of clay, to the top to create a strong rounded rim. Now rim, you all must know, it means the outer edge of the pot's mouth. Then, on a bright sunny day, Arella told Sentila that they should try to make as many pots as they could, otherwise they would not have enough days of sunshine to dry them. So mother and daughter were finally working together, racing against the time and weather to create something lasting. They went to the shed quite early to begin. As usual, Arella completed a batch quickly and asked Sentila to take over, that is, to continue the work from there. Complaining that she had a headache and a backache, she went out, telling Sentila to try and make as many pots as she could. So Arella left as she was feeling unwell. Sentila was surprised and reluctantly began to beat the dough in perfect coordination with her left hand. Sentila felt surprised by this sudden responsibility. At first she was reluctant, which means she was not very much willing in shaping, in doing the pots, but still she started working. She began shaping the clay carefully, moving her hands in proper coordination. That is, her hands were moving and working together smoothly and correctly, just the way they should, while shaping the pots. Before long, means very soon, she realized that the pot was ready. She started on the next one, and like a sprinter who had suddenly found momentum, she continued making pot after pot with the same speed and dexterity that she had noticed in her mother's hands. Remember, a sprinter is a runner who runs very fast for short distances. Now, Sentina began making another pot after her first success, just like a sprinter or a runner who suddenly gains speed and confidence. Sentila started working quickly and smoothly. She made many pots one after another with the same speed and dexterity, that is, the skill and quickness in using hands that she had seen in her mother's hands. So, some miracle happened here. Finally, when she looked at her row of pots, she saw that she had made just one short of her mother's tally. Her tally or final count was just one less than that of her mother. This proves that Sentila was no longer a struggling learner. She was now officially a skilled pot maker. Exhausted from the labor, she decided to go into the house and join her mother for lunch. After working very hard and feeling extremely tired, Sentila decided to go inside the house to eat lunch with her mother. When she reached the threshold, she found her mother lying on the floor. She was not breathing. Well, threshold is the strip of wood or stone forming the bottom of a doorway like this. As Sentila reached her house, she found her mother lying dead. Sentila ran towards the common area in the village for help. The common area, is the central gathering place in any village where people meet for conversations, for festivals, news, or even emergencies like this. So, in times of trouble, the village acts as one big family. The villagers raced to the house and sent for Mesoba. Everyone rushed to Sentila's house. They also called her father Mesoba. When Arella's body was being carried out of the house next morning, Sentila ran after it, shouting, "Mother, I did not wish it to happen this way. It simply came to me. Please forgive me." Here Sentila asked for forgiveness for a very specific reason. She felt that by finally matching her mother's skill in pottery, by achieving that expertise, she somehow replaced her mother. She felt guilty because she felt that her sudden success was somehow connected to her mother's death, as if her mother's skill or her mother's spirit was transferred to her. Those who heard her did not understand what she meant, except for Onula. The villagers could not understand what Sentila was trying to say, but Onula, the wise mentor, she understood. She intuitively sensed that something momentous had happened. Intuitively, which means knowing something by feeling without needing explanations or facts. So Onula understood. She felt deep inside that something momentous, that is very important and life changing, had happened in Sentila's life. On her way back, Onula noticed that the door to the workshed was slightly ajar. While returning, Onula saw that the door of the workshed where Sentila and her mother were working, it was not fully closed. It was slightly ajar, means it was a little open. Out of curiosity, she stepped inside and abruptly stopped in her tracks. The phrase stopped in her tracks, it means that she was so surprised by what she saw that she couldn't move anymore. What did she see? Two neat rows of newly made pots stood side by side. She could find nothing to tell one batch from the other. Means she could not see any difference between the two sets of pots. They looked exactly the same in quality and shape. She was sure that it was not the handiwork of one person alone. Being an expert and experienced potter, she knew that one person could not do so much work. Handiwork means work done by hand. Onula stood there for a long time, as if trying to absorb a new phenomenon. Onula didn't just look and leave. She stood still, trying to absorb or fully understand what she observed. It was a phenomenon to her, that is something extraordinary and rare, an unusual incident. Slowly she walked away from this place of wonder, as she considered it to be. To Onula, the workshed was no longer just a working space, it was a place of wonder, that is, a place filled with amazement and mystery. Why? Because she believed that she had just witnessed a profound revelation in the two batches of still moist pots standing side by side in perfect symmetry inside the shed. Onula felt that she had just seen something very deep and meaningful. The two rows of pots were in perfect symmetry, that is, they matched each other exactly in shape and size. This was a profound revelation, that is, a powerful, very deep realization for Onula. She realized that Sentila didn't just learn to make pots perfectly, she became the mirror image of her mother's skill. She achieved the same expertise as her mother. A new pot maker was born. This is the most powerful short sentence in the story. This birth represents the continuity of culture. By matching her mother's skill perfectly, Sentila proved that the art did not die with her mother. She was now the skilled pot maker who would carry forward her mother's craft. And so, in a quiet village, a beautiful journey comes to an end and a new one begins. Sentila's story is not just about learning to make pots, it is about patience, guidance, and the deep bond between a mother and a daughter. This story also reminds us that our teachers and our parents may leave us, but the skills, the values, and the spirit they pass on to us make them immortal. They live in us. With this, we come to the end of the explanation. So, dear students, I hope this lesson helps you not just in your exams, but also in understanding the beautiful traditions of our country. Thank you for watching this video.